Diablo 4 is a disappointment, as most people know. But even worse, Diablo 4 is proof that Blizzard will never actually make a good Diablo game. We're talking about a company that sold 20 million copies of Diablo 4 on launch and now has roughly 20 people playing this godforsaken game. And there are a couple of reasons, a couple of firm and strong reasons why I believe Diablo can't be a good game. And I'm gonna go over them because I figured that, hey, I haven't actually done that. I haven't pointed out the exact problems. And we have Last Epoch, Path of Exile, Path of Exile 2 to compare how Diablo 4 fails at these very fundamental things that other games don't struggle with. Hell, even Diablo 3 actually did a couple of these things correctly. And the broad strokes is items, abilities, and cooldowns. Yes, cooldowns is going to be a specific category because cooldowns is the all-green encompassing thing that I think sets Blizzard apart from other games in the way that they have absolutely no fucking idea what they're honestly doing at this point, and it's just a pure joke in my opinion. And cooldowns, I think, is the conversational part that encompasses it the best. So first of all, this is Diablo 4. I am level 37. This is my main Season 7 character. I don't have another one. In all of my videos, when I say the average person does play Diablo 4 new season for like an hour or two, I'm not joking. That's actually true, and I'm one of those people. I get to like level 37 when all of your gear is fully now legendaries, and it just bores the shit out of you. Actually, I'm going to talk about one more thing. It's the Diablo brain rot that Blizzard constantly just pushes on you because it's just cheap neuron activation bullshit for the most part. And Season 7 is probably the greatest example of this with its seasonal mechanic with the Tree of Whispers. I leveled from 1 to 37 by doing this. I have no idea what any of these icons mean. I just go there, if something increases, then I stay there until it finishes increasing and I get my rewards. And that's brainless. That's brain dead completely, and it's a stupid mechanic, okay? Making people lose IQ points to play your game because that's the only time the game looks so fun or is playable is a bad strategy. The fact that I don't need to read what any of this garbage is, I just need to look at the minimap. If there's a yellow triangle somewhere, go click on it, and that's it. And then I need to get my reward for extra dopamine hits. That by itself is an extremely poor mechanic that's probably not going to be appreciated by 99.9% of the population because they're not brain damaged, okay? That's just the reality of these things. And honestly, I think that's pretty sad that this is the stuff that you need. And this is, by the way, why everyone's constantly talking about the repetitiveness of the game, because this is part of the seasonal mechanic. It's just a zone that you go in and it changes randomly and you need to do some mindless activities there. That's the literal same as Season 6, Season 5, Season 4, Season 3, Season 2, Season 1, fucking ever. It's always the same. These brainless mechanics that literally just make you go a place and then you don't know what's happening and you get rewards. This is bad. This is bad design. Path of Exile is a great example, and Last Epoch honestly also now does it too. It's a great example of seasonal mechanics that are simple, because the truth is, everyone's hyped about the Last Epoch and Path of Exile seasonal mechanics. And you want to know a hot take? Well, it's actually not a hot take, and when I explain this is going to be pretty obvious to most of you. Helltides, the seasonal fucking zone, it's literally the same exact gist, the same exact mechanic as Last Epoch and Path of Exile. But, so for some reason, we hate it here, but we love it there. And you know why? It's the same thing that I was talking about the Tree of Whispers and Obols, my hate for Blizzard ruining that. Obols were this magical currency that you rarely acquired, and every couple of hours if you were playing this game actively, you could go gamble on a couple of gear and it was like a fun side thing. Now, everything you do in the game fucking awards you obols. They're useless. They're just one more mind-numbing thing that you do constantly as a chore. Same with the Tree of Whispers. The Tree of Whispers previously was something that you could complete in like 2 hours or 3 hours of gameplay while actively not doing it. It would be like, oh shit, I got a Tree of Whispers captured wad. That's cool. But no longer. Now it's just a repetitive mechanic that gets shoved in your face roughly every 0.3 seconds when you actually play the game. And that's sad. Path of Exile and Last Epoch succeed with their mechanics because you don't interact with them every fucking 2 minutes. Okay? Path of Exile especially lets you actually choose when you interact with it. It doesn't force its seasonal mechanic down your fucking slop-ridden throat. It doesn't. Last Epoch, you know, the orbs that you unlock when you get to fight the mini boss that are very cool and shit. That also, you don't see them all the time. You see them sparingly, like every roughly 10-20 minutes of gameplay when you are going through the campaign. It's great because it feels different and it's not repetitive, even though you're probably killing that boss for the literal 20th time. But it feels great because, again, it doesn't feel repetitive because there is downtime between the seasonal goddamn mechanic when you do it, or when you choose to do it, because you can completely ignore it and it's fine. But in Diablo 4, you can't ignore this shit. If you ignore this, congratulations, leveling 1 to 60 is gonna take you 22 billion hours. You can't ignore this. It's either you do or you feel like an idiot, okay? And it shoves all of these things down your throat constantly. And that is one of the things, okay? This wasn't a, by the way, this was not a problem in Diablo 3. Diablo 3 had other ways to play the game, and it was good because you were getting different collectible stuff that you could use for the, when you hit max level. It actually was a very, very different and better system. Okay, so that's complaint 1. Complaint 2 is items. If you, itemization until you hit pretty much Torment 3 or 4 is completely meaningless. If you're a beginner at this game, you're pretty much like this. Oh, this thing has more green things than others? Yes, equip, obviously. Why the fuck not? It's obviously, oh, actually, it's more damage. Okay, if the damage number is lower, you never equip it. If the damage number is higher, you always equip it. And if you're Giga Brain, by the way, you pretty much just look at the item level of the items, because item level has ruined gaming in general, not even Diablo 4, just Diablo 4, but in general, because probably a white item level 400 item is gonna be better than, you know, the legendary 350 item level item. That's just the reality of the situation. It's just how sad that shit is, okay? So, leveling an itemization in Diablo 4 is, until the later portions of the game, it's just like green arrow point up, you click it. This is a little bit more intellectually stimulating, honestly, than Diablo 3, because that was literally green arrow go up, you fucking click it. But this one's not a lot different. It still has power, armor, life, which simplifies everything down to a meaningless number that you honestly don't even understand how it works. It just takes away from your ability as a human to function, and this is sad. It's just, again, one more way to mind numb the fucking living hell out of this. And because of the situations like this, you end up with a situation where you can't make this game harder, because making this game harder now is gonna alienate 90% of the player base, which is not a lot left, okay? You can't afford that. So, itemization's fucking cooked, as you can clearly see. The crafting system is insane. Here's another bitchy thingamajig. I don't even know what this is. It doesn't matter. Also, every season you have the same fucking problem. It's all of this stuff. Now, currently, Season of the Witch so far has been at least the most interesting in things that happen. Look at that. I have a froggy. I have some kind of thing around me out of siphoning. Very cool. Very cool. You know, this is currently the best, but every season has the same problem. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. 9 times 3 minus 2. 25. There's 20 motherfucking 5 things here that you need to, every single season, you need to be like, does this, does that, okay. Does this, does that. Oh, it has some kind of stupid keyword like fucking hex on it or bullshit. Oh, it's a witch power. What is this? What is this? Oh, everything's a witch power. Oh, this is a unique witch power. And this is DK, this is... And you need to read all of this. This is just a lot of fucking busy work because the witch powers are implemented so fucking ridiculously poorly. This by itself detracts from the game so much that all of this is gonna be gone in a couple of months, and why the fuck would I honestly read it at this point? It's just a lot of busy work because the reality is only like 3 or 4 powers here are gonna be good. Everything else is just gonna be, okay, let's look at what's the biggest percentile damage increase for me. It's absolutely pitiful and stupid. After that is obviously the skill twig issue. It's not even really the skill twig issue. It's just that since the game has started, there have been abilities that are literally fucking useless. For example, when the game started, Ice Shards was the only good thing. Then they buffed everything else, and Ice Shards now is literally shit. And in Season 8, they're gonna buff Ice Shards, so for Sorceress, Ice Shards is gonna be the only usable thing. It's hilarious how they do it. And the thing is, my complaint about this is, it's not the fact that it's even a skill twig or that this part doesn't even matter, and that this is literally like, increase its radius by 50% and burn enemies for blah 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 damage, and your choice is this retarded multiplier versus this retarded multiplier. That doesn't make a single shred of fucking sense. Okay, all of this is boring, but that's fine. The real problem in the skill twig is the fact that some of the skills are unusable. And when I say some, I literally mean the majority of skills for the majority of classes are complete trash and unusable, unless you have some kind of legendary affix that actually makes them usable. That is pathetic. The fucking fact that it's season 8 soon, and Fireball is an unusable ability unless you have like 3 legendary that pumps this shit up by 50 billion% is hilarious. And Fireball is probably one of the best examples. None of this crap is usable unless you have some kind of legendary that makes it usable, because this is like a crippled form of what it actually should be. And that goes for almost every skills except defensives, okay? You need some kind of legendary, otherwise it's useless. And then, now it's the big one, okay? Because that's a kind of... I think that's an easy thing to explain, right? All the skills are useless if you... Well, Sorcerer is probably the worst example of this, because a lot of skills are almost usable. Almost. Almost! Not good, but at least usable. Necromancer is fucking completely brain rot, dead, unusable unless you have upgrades. Rogue is just... Rogue doesn't even have a useful skill to level it, unless you have some kind of legendary affix. But yeah, that's a easy to understand problem, right? But this is the thing that encapsulates how bad Blizzard is in general at doing things. And you know what that is? Cooldowns. Cooldowns. I have been correct about almost every single prediction I have made for Diablo 4 so far, because they're literally copying everything Diablo 3 did, and all the mechanics how they look at the end game. On Season 0, I literally called out the fact that cooldowns are ultimates are gonna be spammable, because this is what they did in Diablo 3. This is Blizzard's biggest sin. They are completely unable to make interesting skills that work, okay? There is not a single class in this game, and Diablo 3, may I add you, even though Diablo 3 started off differently and was actually good, but for some reason Blizzard thinks that you should be able to spam every skill with a cooldown. Every skill that has a cooldown is shit, because in Diablo, the spacing of the enemies is so poor that you can never use cooldowns properly. In Diablo 3, it was way better, by the way. At least at the start, until the game turned into complete shit. But it used to be better. Used to be somehow magically better, I know. And you could actually use like 30-second ulti cooldowns in a proper way that actually felt rewarding and not a waste and fun. In Diablo 4, this is completely lost. No cooldowns, no ultis are literally ever usable. If you used on anything but the boss at the end of the thing, you wasted it. If you use it on the boss, well, it probably doesn't deal enough damage, so it's useless to use there. So when do you use the ulti? Well, the Blizzard solution to this is make it that literally every single ultimate in the game can be fucking spammed. Every single class, every single everything in this game no longer has a cooldown. You have ways to give it 0 cooldown. Ice Armor 0 cooldown. Teleportation 0 cooldown. Flame Shield 0 cooldown. Frost Snow pretty much 0 cooldown. This shit 0 cooldown. This shit, probably a way to get it on 0 cooldown, but it's such a bad ability, no one actually does it. This crap, no one has tried it, but there's probably a way to get this to 0 cooldown. This is what Blizzard does, because they are fundamentally incapable of making the game reasonable, so they will make every single cooldown just a spammable thing, which is stupid. It's just stupid. It's supposed to be an ultimate, not some kind of bad basic skill that you constantly spam. And this has been the thing with literally every single class. Every class can do it. And in Diablo 3, this is also the thing. And while you look at things like, for example, Last Epoch. Last Epoch doesn't really have that many things with huge cooldowns, if any, by the way. But Last Epoch makes up for it in the fact that there are small cooldowns on a lot of skills, but you have a reason to use all of them. In Diablo 4, you just literally bash your fucking keyboard and then shit happens. That's the correct way of playing this stupid game, okay? Somehow in Path of Exile, they actually did cooldowns pretty well. There are almost no cooldowns to abilities, but some abilities do require setup and whatnot, and that's pretty cool. And it works out, you know? People actually take the time to set up the ability and then proc it and big booms happen. And people like that. Diablo 4 doesn't do that. And you know what's the irony? Diablo 2, Medi and fucking XL did cooldowns properly. There were cooldowns, you use them, there starts a cooldown, you're happy with it, shit's happening, then you use it another time, you're happy with it, but things actually have a cooldown. Okay? In this game, they don't. There's no cooldowns. Everything is spammable because Blizzard doesn't understand how to make any. If Blizzard just wants you to constantly be engaged, hit the goddamn keyboard with shit, and this is why they will fail. This is why they will never make a good game, because they don't even know how to make a game where you actually don't spam all of your buttons instantaneously because nothing has a cooldown. It is insane. It's sad. I mean, Diablo 4 is fucking cooked. What's the point of blue items in the shitty game? Anyway, yeah, that's my rant. Fuck this game.